Welcome, dear viewers, to Dynamic Living the Total You with our In Focus episode, Emergency Care. Alam naman po natin na minsan pag nasa bingit tayo ng ating buhay or ng ating kamatayan, ang una nating pupuntahan ay ang emergency room. At alam din po natin, lahat tayo ay minsan natatakot pag nababanggit ang salitang emergency room. Let us have a take and look and see with a new hospital here in Cebu, which is the ARC or Allegiant Regional Care Hospitals. We'd like to see and talk to the head of the emergency room, who is none other than Dr. Deborah Custodio. Magandang araw sa iyo, Doktora.
Good evening, Doktora.
Okay, so heto nga sabi natin, ang mga tao pagka nabanggit yung emergency room, para bang may kaba, para bang takot sila. Why is that?
Well, because of, I think, the term emergency. No? So, when we hear the term emergency, parang iniisip natin kaagad, mamamatay na yan. In the same way as when we hear ICU, they always think na lahat ng nasa ICU at the brink of their death. No? So, I think that's a misnomer, I think, about the whole concept of emergency room.
Okay. Now, why is it very important that for an emergency room to function as an emergency room, that the people there should be efficient, should be fast, and the speed and the timeliness of the institution of whatever is necessary to be able to save the life of a patient matters?
Okay. The practice of emergency medicine is really time-bound, okay? Whatever the case may it be as simple as fever, may it be as critical as cardiac arrest, it is always time-bound. That is why it is always important to establish systems within the emergency department.
Pag sinabi mong time-bound, Dr. Debs, you are talking about a certain limited period in time wherein you should be able to act, otherwise the impact or the effect on the patient may actually be affected.
Yes, true. So that is why we have triage systems. So there are several triage systems. To name one, we have the Emergency Severity Index. Number two, the Australasian Triage Acuity System. The third, the Canadian Triage Acuity System. Now, if we talk about Australasian, they have 5 categories. So if one meaning immediately life-threatening, you have to see the patient as soon as possible. If 2, within 10 minutes, 3, within 30 minutes, 4 within 60 minutes or an hour.
So you use that one in the assessment of your patients in terms of prioritizing them?
Yes. And then if you are under category 5, you can be seen within 120 minutes. But unfortunately, we actually do not apply that here in our hospitals because we would want to see all the patients as soon as possible.
So is that the reason why sometimes patients, if there are quite a number of them, like you are swamped with patients, you have an emergency room that is filled up like 20, 30 patients at one time. So you use those, your categorization in terms of, okay, I need to see this patient first because mas kailangan ko siyang tingnan at kailangang malapatan siya ng kung anong dapat ibigay sa'yo.
We in the emergency department understand prioritization, but the patients or our clients do not actually understand that concept. So every time we explain to our patients, waiting, ma'am, can you wait for a while? We are just looking in this one patient that's, I think, having heart attack, okay? You are fine, I checked already your vital signs and you're having fever for the past 2 days, probably we do also CBs, but let me check first this one patient.
Okay,
it's all about reassurance.
Okay, it's actually reassurance and talking to them,
yes.
No? Okay, now, how long or how short a time is in terms of being essential in the management of a patient? Like for example, you mentioned that, okay, top 1, okay, priority number 1 should be seen in this matter of minutes. Why is that, Dr. Debs? Does it mean if I have fever only, then I don't have to be prioritized? Or if I am having a myocardial infarction or a heart attack, that means that in 5-10 minutes, there should be an institution of medications because after all, it may also have a greater impact on my quality of life after.
We do not want to prolong, we do not want to increase the morbidity risk of the patient, most especially those who are having critical illnesses. So immediately when we suspect myocardial infarction or stroke, within 5 minutes, they should be seen immediately. If with fever, stable vital signs, we can reassure first the patient.
Okay, now in the triage, okay, you mentioned the triage a while ago. Who are your members pala in the triage area or in the emergency room per se?
Well, ideally, there should be a triage physician, okay? And then we also have a triage nurse, okay? I have to be realistic, okay? So in our emergency department, we have our triage nurse plus the triage nursing auxiliary. Yeah, so with that, we've been having holding classes or trainings with regards to this triage system.
How would you now define your practice in the real world, in actuality, comparing to your training where you come from? And I know that it's from St. Luke's. So how would you now rate yourself in terms of, okay, I have been prepared very well during my training, and now I am actually here. I'm heading an emergency room all to myself. So how do you deal with that?
You said it, Doctora. I am being prepared by my alma mater. So I am also thankful, very, very, very grateful and thankful to have been trained in St. Luke's. Now, I did not know the actual practice of emergency medicine not until I came here in our hospitals. When I was in Manila, it was all about training. My goal is to finish my 12-hour shift and then sleep and then wake up the next day and then another day. But now, it's not as simple as going on duty. But I also have to think of my colleagues, the emergency department in general, and the hospital.
We'll take a very short break, Dr. Debs. When we return, we'll continue on with our interesting topic on emergency care. We'll try to discuss with Dr. Debs when we return what are the usual cases that she gets to see in the emergency room, how does she handle the stress that is related to it, considering that it is an adrenaline-packed area that she is into. Please stay tuned to Hope Channel.
Well, I am trained as a ER nurse. Well, we're given trainings inside and outside the hospitals. We are also been trained by our doctors here, like how do we do triage, how do we cater emergency cases, how do we treat patients with normal conditions, and the like. As an ER nurse, it's not an easy job because we have to prioritize which is an emergent or a non-emergent cases. So we first do priority those emergent, like those dying people or those who are in pain. Well, pressure is always there in the ER. So for me personally, I do take it as a challenge, as an everyday challenge.
Welcome back to Dynamic Living the Total You with our In Focus episode, Emergency Care, with none other than the head of the emergency room of Allegiant Regional Care Hospitals, Dr. Deborah Custodio. So, Doktora, matanong nga kita, how do you measure your success in the emergency room?
Okay. There are several ways to measure success, okay? Number one can be customer satisfaction, okay? So, we need to have that standardized survey forms, okay? We are still in the process of doing that, okay? Number two, internal measure of success. What do I mean? So we have our own turnaround time, no? The phases 1 and 2. Phase 1 meaning from the time of entry of the patient to our disposition, either we discharge, admit, discharge against medical advice, transfer the patient. That's 2 to 2.5 hours, okay? Phase 2, from the time entry of the patient until we get to admit that patient up in the ward. So that's 4 to 5 hours.
So that's how you measure the success in the emergency room. So what are your challenges in, making sure that your emergency room being head should be efficiently run and managed?
I've always believed that for an institution to work, you must develop very good camaraderie amongst your colleagues. So, humbly, I would want to tell you, Doktora, that in the emergency department, walang doktor-doktor, walang nurse-nurse, walang TO-TO, I mean transport orderly, walang nursing auxiliary. Everybody is being treated equally. Yeah. Then, if you have that system already, I think you'll have a very good outcome.
So how do you meet the challenges head-on, considering that there are a lot of things that you need really? Like it's a new hospital. You are also a new head in that area. So you have challenges already that we mentioned. So how do you meet them head-on so that, you will be able to put into line your vision for your department?
I am very fortunate to have people like you, Dr. Alex, and several consultants in Manila to really guide me, okay? If it were not for these guys, I think matagal na akong basag.
So,
basag na basag.
So, tanungin kita, ano ba usually ang reasons bakit ang pasyente pumupunta ng emergency room? Kailangan ba talaga sa emergency room sila tumakbo?
Okay. If we have to, in a day, I have already mentioned all about the ESI triage system. Only 10% of that is actual
ER cases.
Yeah. Okay. 80 to 90%, okay lang. Cough na hindi naman hirap huminga. Fever na a few hours lang. Okay. Or headache na 2 hours lang. Okay. Why do they go to the emergency department? Okay? Kasi it's very accessible. Okay? Tapos, the doctors are always there.
It's open 24/7.
Exactly. The doctors are always there. Punta ko doon kasi may kilala akong doktor doon na maganda. Yun.
Si Dr. Debs yun.
In short, because they want to be reassured that they're fine. And it's open 24/7.
Kasi so,
doon sila sa clinics,
reason nila, no?
Yeah.
Dahil pagka sa clinic sila, minsan, gabi lang sila may time.
Yes,
lalo na yung mga
true.
working parents, di ba? So, yun yung time na pwede silang pumunta doon. So, what conditions, if we are to educate our viewers, can we tell them na heto dapat emergency room talaga ang punta ninyo? Kasi meron din namang mentality ang kapwa Pinoy natin na, kaya pa yan pagpabukas. Di ba? So at one end of it is bukas na lang, sa sunod araw na lang. And yet, dapat pumunta na sila sa emergency room.
Okay. There are several emergencies. So let me talk about cardiac emergencies. So whatever age group you belong to, basta chest pain, pumunta ka na ng ER. Okay? Bahala na kami dyan. Okay? Bahala kung muscle spasm na yung diagnosis namin sa iyo. As long as we have completely ruled out any acute cardiac event. Okay? Neurologic system, CNS system. If you have this numbness, slurring of speech, one-sided body weakness, severe headache, dizziness, loss of consciousness, punta ka na kaagad sa ER.
Huwag mo na ipagpabukas.
Whatever time of the day, go immediately to the emergency department. Okay? What else? Abdominal pain. Abdominal pain can be anything. Can be reflux disease. But in elderly patients, abdominal pain, we have to rule out also cardiac event and or aortic aneurysm or aortic pathology. Yeah.
So, yan sila dapat, kailangan pumunta talaga sila. Huwag nila ipagpaliban. Pero ang mga kabataan, Doc Debs, lalo na yung mga linggit, no? I also believe that parents, alam naman natin na ang bata madaling mag-deteriorate, di ba? Diarrhea, o kaya naman dehydration, di ba kailangan din silang dalhin sa emergency room?
Yes. Because this pediatric population kasi is different from the adults. They cannot talk, they cannot verbalize whatever they are feeling. So, pag medyo with signs of dehydration, bring the baby immediately to the emergency
emergency
room. Then it's all up to us if we admit or discharge, we assure you, do laboratories, etc.
Okay. Now, when we return, we'll take a very short break. I would like to discuss with you, Dr. Debs, how do you handle an influx of patients, like vehicular accidents? So how do you try to manage them? Number two, you on a personal level, why choose emergency medicine? Okay, we'll take a very short break, and when we return, we'll continue on with our discussion with Dr. Deborah Custodio.
Yes, of course, as a nurse, we'll always be very adjustable to any change. And of course, we are also capable of doing our job well, performing the tasks that we are taken, carrying all the orders of our doctors, and also giving the best care of our patients. Maybe if I'm not assigned in the ER, maybe in the ICU, intensive care unit. I prefer to be in the ER.
Welcome back to Dynamic Living the Total You with our In Focus episode, Emergency Care. Heto po nakakagulat, no? Napakaganda, napakabata pa. Ang dami namang specialty na pwedeng pagpilian. Bakit emergency medicine? Yun yung tanong ko sa Dr. Debs.
Okay, sige. Fate brought me to emergency medicine, okay? Gusto ko talaga neuro eh. Buti na lang hindi ako nag-neuro.
Hindi, kung nag-neuro ka, kinuha ka pa din ng art.
Okay. Well, I did not know the specialty before, but being an emergency physician now, I've loved it. Okay, I am loving the adrenaline, the different cases of our patients, no? The different attitudes, the different characters of our patients, and their significant others. So, yun ang nagpapa-excite sa akin sa emergency room.
So, what gives you that sense of fulfillment?
When they say thank you, as simple as headache, ano po, okay na po kayo? Yes, doktora, uwi na po kami. Okay, sige. Thank you po, doktora, ha?
So that one gives you a sense of fulfillment. So what are the skills that a person, an upcoming doctor who would even want to go into emergency medicine should have?
Okay, I would want them to have that very good disposition in them muna before they battle the emergency room. And then, they will learn the macro and the micro skills of the emergency room.
When you say attitude
like receptive to scoldings, receptive to learnings, open and acceptable. That's it.
So how do you handle failures? Like for example, you are in a code in the emergency room, and no matter what you did, the patient, hindi talaga kinaya niya. How do you handle events like that?
Well, of course, wala na si patient. Okay? So, your next patient will be the family. Okay? Mahirap magbitaw ng bad news. Okay? So, personally, I've always told those relatives na, I know it's hard. I've been there. Okay? But I think it's time for us to really be selfless this time. No? We've done everything. Do not worry about it.
Do you think, Doc Debs, that all hospitals, all general hospitals or any hospitals for that matter, should be able to focus also on developing their emergency care practice?
I think so. Because when I was a postgraduate intern, rotating in the ER was very much different as what I am practicing now. So, iba pala, may impact pala ang emergency medicine.
Yes.
So, like, as far as I can recall, PGI ako, cough, 6 hours pa lang bago makita ng doktor. Okay? With emergency medicine, ASAP, Okay. Ano ba? Ano? Sige. Okay, okay. Let's do this. Okay.
Diretsahan.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about your vision for yourself first. You, as a doctor, how do you envision yourself like 5 years or 10 years or 20 years from today?
To be able to help in propagating the specialty. That's it. Make others learn and know about the specialty.
In other words, you want to inspire people to become like you, to go into the practice of emergency room medicine.
Yes.
Your vision for your emergency room here in ARC hospitals.
Okay. As simple as, may lagnat ako, punta tayo ng ARC. Punta tayo ng ARC ER. That's it.
So magiging tagline, byline,
Yes.
ang inyong ARC emergency room.
Yes.
And you would be happy with that already. Now, what is your message then to our viewers in terms of them, number one, in the use of the emergency room, number two, for those who feel that the emergency room is something to be afraid of, number three, for those who are upcoming doctors who would want to go into a specialty later?
Okay. Number one, for those people who are afraid of the emergency room, there's nothing to be afraid of in the emergency room. Okay, we are there. Your doctors are there. We accommodate every complaint that you have. Okay, to those growing doctors. Okay, just build in yourself the character and good attitude. Okay, kahit anong field ba yan, kahit anong field pa yan na gusto nyo, basta isa puso yung pagiging doktor. That's it.
And your vision for your ARC emergency room?
Oh, okay.
Which you said already that ARC ER tayo pumunta. On top of that, what else would you want? You want another hospital with another emergency room for ARC?
Hopefully. Well, to be able to duplicate probably ARC ER system in the
Somewhere
future
else.
hospitals.
Yes, and we're going to have that very soon, Dr. Debs. So, heto po mga kaibigan, no, alam po natin, mahirap po ang buhay ng isang doctor sa emergency room. Just like Dr. Debs here. She is on, there sometimes 24 hours, sometimes 72 hours, just manning that emergency room. And if there are multiple vehicular accident patients, they have to go to the emergency room and be treated there. But despite the adrenaline-packed area, she's able to smile and to be able to tell us, I'm okay, I want that ARC ER be the byline for every person here. And even here in 3rd Jan 2, it says, Dear friends, I pray that you may enjoy good health. So dapat lahat tayo ay in good health upang hindi naman tayo pumunta kaagad sa emergency room. Although Dr. Debs would be sad if you don't go to the emergency room. Magandang araw po sa ating lahat.
Dynamic living, making the best of you on fire. Dynamic living, sharing the faith, we're giving the love and bringing the total you.
If you have been blessed by this program, share hope and help us continue to bring hope everywhere. Send your donations to South Philippine Union Conference through any of the bank details shown here. Hope Channel. Sharing love, changing lives.
Agay, marag lapad man ang akong ulo. Inom sa kuha niya tableta para mawala ni. Marag pa muhipoy man ang akong mga bukton. Ay, may nalang niapod ko yung tableta para ni. Ayay, marag wala gani may angay akong tiyan sa akong pamahaw ba? Naman po siguro ko'y tambal para sa hapto sa tiyan diri.
Hops! Kadali lang higala! Nahibalo ka ba nga pwede kang madaot sa dili sakto nga pagtumar og mga medisina? Tungod kay sintetika ni, kikinahanglan gayud ang medical advice sa pagtumar ni ini. Busa, sulahi usa ang natural remedies. Ang Natural Remedies Encyclopedia adunay kapin sa 11,000 ka home remedies para sa sobra sa 700 ka mga balatian. Palit na sa Natural Remedies Encyclopedia. Sa Natural Remedies Encyclopedia, siguradong mas safe and healthy ka.
We are people, and we love to get connected. We connect as families because of birth. We connect as friends because we click. And we connect as communities because we care. Seventh-day Adventists are people who connect in communities called congregations, which in turn connect to form conferences, who connect together to form unions, divisions, and the General Conference. Why do we connect? It starts with a connection to the Creator, who invites us on a spiritual journey. When we journey together, we can help each other along the way. This journey is a journey of a lifetime, and as we learn and grow, life becomes filled with meaning and purpose. Our greatest joy is in helping others along the way. Wherever you are on your journey, we believe that we have something to offer that can make your life more whole. So the next time you see a Seventh-day Adventist, remember, you're not looking at someone who stands alone. They are connected to a world church that has 18 million members, gathered in 13 divisions, comprised of 122 unions, formed by 600 conferences, serving in 140,000 congregations in 208 countries, who worship in 924 languages, and they all want to connect with you.
Go.
Lula, tanong ng bakulangan, may isa ka player na.
Hindi ba? Relax lang. Apil ba? Hindi na kamagdugay ba? Isa lang good ka oras.
Kamula pa man kung basa ani nga libro gaw. Papag ikaw study ayon na. Kira na katunga na bitaw ka.
Mogid, bisa magidik isa ka page di wala pa may kapangabli.
Pero gaw, kabalo ba mas itong maista ani nga subject? Sige ba siya gatag og quizzes? Ingon pa siya nga mag-andam ta per me? Sis.
Pero ba, di ba nakapaminaw ka sa leksyon ni ma'am? Sus, ikaw ba?
Bito.
Great cake ka.
Ito kayo.
Madumduman ni mga tanan.
Sige. Sara ko oras ha?
Okay, class, get your workbook. We're gonna have a quiz.
Di na kinimayo bay ka nang isa ko mapya sa inyo ha, magtuon sa ako. Unsa? Ano man? Dula sa taba ka isa lang.
Ato na tagad ta. Nag-text si Francis. Pwede daw siya makapil. Ta.
Sige, amping mo gaw.
Open it to page 365. Of course.
Sometimes. Why not? Yes. My brother.
My mom. And of course, my dad.
The policeman.
Boss.
My teachers.
My grandpa.
When I'm threatened.
When he stares at me.
When I hear his whistle. When they raise their voice.
When they call me by my full name.
Whenever he calls me like this. Hey, come on, bro. Because they're the law.
He's older than me.
My grade would be at stake.
They're my parents.
Since I'm younger than him, I'll be fired if I don't. You know.
Obedience
Is more than a
state
of being obedient.
It is our
Willful practice of obedience. Conscious
decision
to obey policemen.
To obey your parents.
Teachers. It means submission to the rules
which are meant
to keep us safe. Likewise,
obedience.
is a manifestation of love. I respect my
I love
parents.
my mom. I love my
Older
dad.
brother.
Besides,
It says we obey
our grandparents,
our older brother, people of authority, our
our
boss,
parents, in the Lord. For this is right.